Hey guys, Troy Dooley over here at MLM Help Desk doing part 2 to the Robert Dean saga that just continues to go on and on and on. This is very, very important what we're about to share here, because I received a letter from Mr. Kerry Brown, who happens to be the Director of Marketing at Limu. You notice I'm wearing Limu colors? I'm doing that on purpose, because this is about Robert Dean now and Limu. It's not about Visalis and Robert Dean. This is why this is so important. Now, I want to make two things very clear right up front before we get into the letter that Mr. Dean wrote. Number one, I've had people say, Troy, do you think Robert Dean is a scumbag? Absolutely not. And if you watch that video, you see that I really praised Mr. Dean, especially what he's done within the black community in his hometown. When you look at what he has done, it's been amazing. When you look at Top Gun and you see what's happened to people in the black community and the white community, because that team's integrated, but it really is more black than it is white. It's amazing. I've got pastor friends of mine, black and white, that are on that team that tell phenomenal stories that have gone on out there, and it excites me to hear that. Another thing that came from my video, I've had some from the white community and the black community call me a racist. They said, Troy, you used the word black. That means you're a racist. You used the word Afro-American instead of African-American, so you're a racist. I want to apologize, because that's not my intent. And you know, if people would pick up the phone and talk to me, they'd find out that it is not about race with me at all. Now, it's definitely, you can trace my family roots all the way back to the Civil War, Jesse James, the whole kit and caboodle, Sons of the Confederacy. I'm proud of my heritage, my Southern roots. I don't have a problem with that. But to call me racist, you don't know me. See, my family, I got blood in my veins that's Cherokee and Choctaw. You ever heard of the Trail of Tears? How many Indians died? My forefathers, my foremothers that died along that trail. Do you know what happened to us after we got on the reservation? Do you remember? Do you understand how much has been stolen from us? Yeah, I could go on down the poor me, play the violin. Don't call me a racist just because my skin is white, because you don't know what my blood is. I'm Scotch-Irish. Do you know anything about the history of what the Scotch-Irish went through, not just in their homeland, but here in America after they got here? This ain't about racism. This is about praising a man that happens to be a black leader in the network marketing community that it's dominantly white. Matter of fact, it's dominantly white women. Now, I got to admit, the new demographic is Latino. I'm excited about that too. But when a minority ethnic group starts to rise up within this industry, I praise them. So don't be calling me a daggum racist. Let's look at Robert's letter. This is what's important here. Listen to this. To whom it may concern, it continues to come to my attention that my personal business integrity is being questioned not only by the founders of Visalis, a company I recently left, but also by the people who are spreading false information. Some of the snide remarks and incorrect assumptions that I have seen deserve a very clear response, so I feel that it's important for me to personally address those issues. And you know what, Mr. Dean, I want to tell you right now, if any of my comments came across to you personally as snide, as disrespectful, as you as an individual, not you as a public figure, I want to personally apologize to you, your wife, and your kids. That was not my intent either. I got frustrated. You got in my crosshairs. But my frustration is the fact that if the deals would become public, just like they are in Hollywood, in sports, in politics, in business, if they were public, if people were rallying around, if the whole Top Gun team was at Limu and the contracts were being signed, if the whole team had been at Visalis and the deal was being, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Robert or somebody else. If we want to call everybody free agents, and let's treat them like free agents, and let's praise them and pay them what they're worth. I'm all for salespeople are king. I'm in on that, but again, Robert, I apologize. I am particularly concerned that a confidentiality agreement that was prepared by Nick Sicola has been now made public by him in an attempt to cast negative light on my business decision. My concern had nothing to do with the actual information in the agreement, but the fact that it was made public by the very man who required it to remain confidential. In my mind, it is totally unethical that that agreement has been made public. We took that agreement public 4 days after Nick had sent it out, and it went all through the Top Gun team and started going viral on the internet. That agreement shows something. Robert gets into it, but I want to make this clear. I want people to listen early on in this video. If you see what Nick wrote in his email, and you see the contract, Nick made it very clear we cut every payment to Robert Dean. That means that Robert and his team Top Gun fulfilled their obligations straight across the board. They were making more money. Matter of fact, I know for a fact some of the team was making more money at ViSalus than they ever had before. I do not honestly believe that this decision was made strictly in a Robert Dean type of just me. And he goes on, and down here you're going to see, he says, he's very clear, this was a business decision. I've talked, as I said, with Kerry Brown over at Limu. I know a little bit more about what's going on. I'm not going to disclose that. It's off the record. But I can tell you, as Robert's going to allude to in a minute, this deal was good for Top Gun, not just for Robert. Now listen to this. Anyone that knows Robert Dean understands that I'm direct and professional in all my business dealings, so I'm not going to make any derogatory or malicious statements. I'm just going to hold to the facts. Let me start by telling you what I saw as I evaluated ViSalus versus the Limu opportunity. I will say this. I wish Robert would have checked into this with ViSalus before he signed the agreement, because maybe he'd have never have gone to ViSalus. He might have gone straight to Limu. But timing is everything, whether it's good or bad. When I compared the management team of ViSalus to executives that I've worked with in the past and the executives over at Limu, their corporate experience is much less successful. They lack seasoning and maturity. And that's not just the founders, but also the management team. This industry is difficult, and more so even in the tough economic times. Only profitable companies will survive because only they will be able to ship product and pay commissions. What he's alluding to there is that ViSalus has had a 5-year track record of losses. Although in the latest quarterly report from Blythe, we see that ViSalus is definitely bringing their cash flow up. It has been tough for them on a profitability side. Now, most companies are not profitable in the first 5 years. We've got on our ViSalus report, I'm going to be covering that. We're going to share about that, and we've already shared some stuff in the past, but I see where he's coming from because there. He says, because of those two factors, inexperience and lack of profitability, to me, their viability over time seemed at risk. It is a high-risk deal like that, anytime it is. In looking at the ViSalus product line, they focus solely on weight loss. They do at this time. That's an accurate statement. Bottom line, I have legitimate concerns about the future course of ViSalus and therefore the future opportunity of the people on my team. I saw in it obviously made sense to me to take the advantage to a more stable and consistently profitable opportunity that I saw in Limu. It was a business decision. He's making that clear. In addition to that, I want to make sure people understand the main reason that I joined the company I did, the Limu company. Here's his reasons, and this is straightforward. Yes, the timing is unfortunate, but I simply cannot turn my back on what I believe to be the greatest opportunity I've seen in several years. The company is strong, the products target 3 different markets, and Limu is relatively unknown even after 6 years. A firm believer in that one. That alone showed me the huge potential for me and my team. Gary Reiser, Limu's founder, also played a huge part in my decision. His 25 years in the industry got my attention as he started as a distributor like me and now knows the industry from the bottom up. Gary has not only been a successful distributor in the field, earning multiple 6-figure income, he's also been a corporate exec outside of network marketing. He's got an impeccable reputation inside and outside of business. He is a great guy. And that's probably why his company has not gained the attention that it has, is because he's just not the typical marketer. He's not that typical CEO out there. He's product driven, he's health driven, and I think that's probably why Limu hasn't quite had that oomph. But he's brought in a marketing team that's second to none. I mean, what they've done at other companies like Zango and beyond is phenomenal. So it's going to be fun to watch this company. We're going to do some stuff on this. Gary has built a corporate team that includes people that have industry success all on their own. They've worked at the really huge companies in our industries, companies that have exploded. They came to Limu because the company had been successful, profitable, and debt-free since day one. This is one powerful corporate team with a distributor-first mentality. They do believe distributors are king and queens in that company. I can attest to that. I absolutely love the Limu story. It's unique and there's a long history there. That's different from most of the companies in the industry. Limu has a line of products that all contain a proprietary seaweed extract. That's huge. That's one of my favorite things about Vima is their proprietary stuff. And it's the same thing here. Limu has that same story behind it. Also, the main ingredient has over 850 third-party, unsolicited, independent studies, etc., etc. Most importantly, listen to what I'm about to say, because this is the reason. I think above and beyond anything else, this is the reason Robert Dean made his choice to go to Limu. The most importantly, Limu has an equity compensation plan that lets everyone earn equity in the Limu company based on extraordinary performance. And anyone means anyone, not just me. I have never heard of a performance-based equity compensation plan available to anyone that earns it. That was a closer for me and my team. There's another company or two that's out there. Primerica has an equity part to their compensation plan. World Financial Group of Aegon International has an equity piece to it. That is important. You do not see it very often. This is what separates companies where distributor force really stick, is that equity piece. You don't need companies that have portfolios. You need multiple streams of income and all that. If your company is willing to give you equity based on performance, you've got a winner. Let me be clear. This was 100% a business decision. It wasn't personal to me. I look at the future not just for me, but for the people that work with me. I knew the timing wasn't good, but I knew it was making the right choice that would most positively affect many, many people in the long run. I saw a brighter future with Limu than I did with Visalis because they had the missing pieces of the puzzle that any of us want. I hope this clears up things and stops the wrong information that's being talked about. I joined Visalis. I signed a confidential agreement, and I know and they know I honored it. I fulfilled every obligation, and I've alluded to that already. All the monies were paid based on the production. He made the production, and that's a performance-based contract. I don't have a problem with that at all. I just think they need to be disclosed. Period. I'm going to put this up so you can see it verbatim. At the end of the day, this is what we all need to understand. Visalis is a phenomenal company with a phenomenal parent company that is backing them with phenomenal products. I've used them. I've lost weight with them even during the cheating times that I did at Christmas. They have men and women of high integrity running that company, and Blythe has got an impeccable reputation as one of the top 100 companies in network marketing. Robert Dean and Top Gun made a business decision. You or I or anybody else could be in the same shoes. What I ask for leaders is for leaders to come forth and say, we are willing to ink a deal when we have to. We're willing to ink a deal for the betterment of our team, but we are going to be transparent and authentic and make those deals public. That's what I'm asking. And the third point that I want to make is the Limu Corporation is one of the best kept secrets, I think, in direct selling. I've been watching this company at a distance. We have not done any reviews on them because there wasn't a whole lot that you could do. But their leaders have been phenomenal. What they've been doing, matter of fact, I did a little bit of review a couple of years ago when they brought out their Blue Frog because they were doing something inside of the energy drink realm, inside of the college age groups that were one of the first companies to do it. It was phenomenal. We all have to band together. We all have to say we're going to hold each other accountable. For you that still think I'm racist, I truly do apologize for your worldview of that. I can't change it, nor would I try, but I at least can give you the facts. For those leaders that are out there that aren't the Robert Deans, they're not the Orrin Woodwards, they're not the Sherman Unkerfords, they're not the Brig Harts. I want to say this to you guys. If you've got a small team that's starting to grow, hey, send me an email, Troy Dooley at MLMHelpDesk.com. That's Troy Dooley, D-O-O-L-Y, Troy Dooley at MLMHelpDesk.com. We're going to put a new series together. We want to get you on our radio shows. We want to be able to praise you as you're starting to raise up and bring your team up. Because the one thing that I understand is deals aren't going to go away anytime soon, if ever. And by golly, if you're a rock star leader, then you're entitled to the same deal. I just pray that you will make it public or allow us to make it public so that we can praise your efforts as you become as successful as servant leaders, as successful as businessmen, as Robert Dean and some of these other guys that I mentioned. Live life like it's an epic adventure. We'll see you at the top.